recording. Okay, and let's take a look at this match. Quickly
Mhm.
slow down the speed to 0.5 so we can see the interactions more carefully. And let's
Sure.
go from here.
All right.
Start. That can go off. Okay, what you're doing
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense so far. Like you've
Mhm.
used the turnips a lot. You've kind of gotten him to approach with the turnip. So again, he's like really far away from you. So I would actually be pulling a turnip right now. You see
Oh,
how
really? Mhm.
like well, why do you say oh really? That's my
Oh,
first
yeah.
question.
I guess I was like scared that he could like run in at me, but I guess he's on the ledge, so you can.
Yeah, he's over here. So you have all this space between you that you can potentially pull it. That you can pull a turnip on him, and then like the turnip kind of controls this trajectory. It kind of goes like that. So if he
Hmm.
stays on the ledge, it harasses him, and it also zones his front. Because no matter how he gets up, he has to go through this space, which means he's always moving into the line of your turnip. So it's always threatening him. It's kind of like hitting. It's kind of like showing Falco. It's kind of like Falco's laser in a way. Um, in that he
Hmm.
has to approach into it from this position. Alternatively, he could potentially like waveland up and attack or something. But
Right.
that's kind of why you're waiting. That's kind of what you're trying to assess with your movement right now. See, the thing is with you approaching him with back air from this range,
Hmm.
like the area that he's really controlling right now is kind of like here. Because this is where his fair would be, like his grabs around this spot, his forward smash. If he gets up and if he lands here, and his forward smash goes to about here, so he can also potentially control this area. He's got this platform.
Uh.
He's got this platform. Like this is kind of like the area that he influences really effectively. So your back air has to, in order for you to hit with your back air, because your back air hitbox is like here on your body, you have to
Hmm.
go through all of this to
Oh,
get to
shoot.
him. See what I mean?
Mm.
Whereas if you pull a turnip, like conversely, if you pull a turnip over here, right? Like
Hmm.
your turnip goes like this because of the trajectory. And if it bounces on like one of his moves, it winds up bouncing like here, like in front of him, right? So he's still
Hmm.
isolated to the corner. So you still have like a wall in front of you protecting your space, like a guard.
Uh-huh.
But like by floating into his territory across the stage, like you're just not really equipped, and the float's not flexible enough really either. Like this could work maybe if you were willing to like get a little bit closer. Like say you start your play like more like here, and you dash
Hmm.
dance because then you can move into this space and then move out of it. But floating is not flexible enough. Like it's not the motion's not dynamic enough for it to work here.
Hmm. Okay, so it's like yeah, because if you float forward, you can't float back like quick enough for him to dodge a move, I guess. You
Yeah,
try to float into that wall, if you will, where he controls that area.
yeah, no, that is exactly what it is.
Mhm.
That's why this play isn't gonna work out. Like he's probably
Okay.
gonna hit you with this fair.
Ah, you're good. He does.
Like even with you shielding, like you still like managed to cancel into something, but you've still kind of
Mhm.
like gone into his space on like low. He's L canceled low fair on your shield, so he's kind of at advantage right now. So
Mm.
he's still gonna get out and be able to pressure you. Now you shake him off you with like this get up attack, and then you land that dash attack, which is really good. But like see how
Mm.
this turnip just like keeps him on the edge and like keeps him controlled. It's like it's forced him to jump there to like deal with it. Like
Mm.
this is kind of what you're
Huh?
trying to do. Like the turnip bounces around. It would have been better if it would have been what ideally this turnip bounces more in front of him, but it's still okay because the hit lag allows you to pull this next turnip because he stops for a bit. So then you pull this one, and then
Mhm.
you throw it. He has to do something about it because he doesn't want it bouncing in front of. Like if he shields here, right? If he were to block, the turnip hits like around here. It bounces
Mhm.
up and occupies this range, which means he can't go there. So then
Mm.
he has to come forward with a wave dash, which means approaching into your space or roll or something, which is not good. So he probably has to jump into this area or sit still And if he sits still, you can set up pressure strings or threaten his shield, or potentially pull another turnip. So you've got a lot of things going on here that are really good. So that's kind of why he jumps here, because he doesn't want to deal with any of this. So this is basically your opening. Like what you're trying to do right now is Marth does not cover this part of his body very effectively. So that's basically where you're aiming. Because you don't want to aim around. You don't want to aim here because that's where all his big, like, scary moves are. You want to aim to this spot. This is good, this bad.
Ah. Oh, okay. I think I aimed at the bad spot, so.
Yeah, like, you see, you go into his fair. So, what do you think could have worked better here? Knowing that, knowing all that now, like, what do you think could have worked better there?
Because I feel like if you dash attack, they can just double jump, right? If you
Yeah,
try to like go underneath him and try to, I guess, dash attack him for jumping, right?
yeah.
He could double jump over you, but it does like I guess scare him into having to do that, right?
It does technically challenge and control this space. Like if you dash attack, you're hitting around here. So if he's
Right.
like, if this is where he is, he just has to fall to this spot, like for his legs
Hmm.
to be around this spot, and that play works. He can mix up with double jump, but you could also just dash dance, and then if you could also just dash dance, like continue to dash dance, and potentially, like,
Hmm.
get, then react to the double jump. So there's like a small mix up here that favors you.
Hmm.
Another option that's worth considering is you could like up air and hit around this area.
Huh.
You could also
Okay.
just put your Nair more around here. Like you could just put your Nair more around this area rather than like this area. Because
Oh.
you're kind of coming at this trajectory, but what I'm saying is like you want to go like you want to like come forward a bit more and then do it more
Hmm.
like you're starting your Nair from like here, but I'm saying you start
Hmm.
your Nair from like here, so you get a little bit closer to him, so you come up with like that, and it attacks a more relevant trajectory. It's kind of messy, but you can kind of see what I mean, right?
I see. Yeah, you're like kind of aiming at more towards his weak area. That's what you mean. That's what people mean when they say, "Oh, Mark doesn't do well protecting underneath himself." I guess.
Yeah, because his fair, like when you think about his moves, like his fair starts here, but it still curves down like this, right? So
Mm.
you still want to avoid that area. And then
Hmm.
his down air starts like in front of him, and then it curves down in front of it, but it's slower. So this area is like less protected than this area. So this is like it's still
Huh?
better to attack like this spot.
Oh, so
Hmm.
like right under his feet. I see.
Yeah.
Is where you could try to aim for. So would running under him and shielding would that work too? I don't know if that would put me in a bad spot if he tries to double jump away.
That's if he tries to double jump, that's actually really good for you because the shield doesn't commit you very hard. So what you could do is potentially like that's a good question actually. So what you could do is you could block here, right? So you're now here in this area. So if he
Mm-hmm.
double jumps forward, he goes like this way. So
Hmm.
you could just like jump out of shield towards him and back here and potentially intercept him as he's going away.
Mm.
If he double jumps like above you or something, like if he's more around here, then you can just come out above underneath him with up airs. There's lots of good plays on that. The bigger fear is that
Hmm.
the bigger fear on him double jumping is that he gets to the top platform somehow, and then you're not really equipped to be able to deal with him. But then that's still not bad for you because you could just drop your shield with in a number of efficient ways, like wave dashing down. You could float out of shield and quickly land. You could if you're really technical, you could even do the double jump land, and you can pull a
Right.
turnip, set up shop again because then you have an item against him. It's not terrible. Um, what else could work? The other thing that you really want to watch out for is like when you shield in this spot, he might try to do a late fair on your shield coming down. But that's not. But if he does anything but a late fair, like if he does a sufficiently high, like if he hits around this part of your shield rather than like this part of your shield, then you could just narrative shield or shield grab him. It's not terrible. Yeah,
I see.
there's options. Like there are mix ups, but
Mhm.
I don't think it's intrinsically a bad play.
Okay, so you could still like here, you could still try to go for him in the air, I guess, if you wanted to, if you aimed for his foot, like you said.
Yeah, like
Okay.
because if you aimed for his foot, like the way to think about it is if you aim for this spot right with like up air or
Mhm.
something, Then though,
Yeah.
how does he have to avoid it? Well, if he has to double jump and then like put himself more into this part of the map, but again,
Mm-hmm.
you just land first and then you're able to if you short hop the up air or if you like float and then fast fall or something, then you still
Mm-hmm.
land before he lands. So then you come back to the ground first, and then you probably have like a little bit of time to pressure him. Alternatively, what he might do is he might just swing early with like down air or something,
Yeah.
and try to out prioritize you. But that's where plays like shielding can or dash attacking can be or dash dance dash attacking can be really good because those punish those kinds of get off me moves because they wait for them and then counterattack them. And then your up air might also just trade with him on the basis of timing. Like that could also happen. So there's lots of ways to win this interaction. It's just
Uh-huh.
you have to aim for the right spot on him.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good to know. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, let's keep going. Okay, forward smash was a little bizarre, but whatever. Okay. So, the way that turnip pulls work in this match is you kind of want to earn them. Um, you see how
Hmm.
he's kind of keeping this distance? Like,
Right.
he's kind of keeping, like, this much space between you. This is not actually the space you're really looking for. You kind of want... It's weird. You want time to pull the turnip, but
Hmm.
he's being very diligent about holding a space where he can potentially run over and attack you for pulling a turnip. So you have to actually kind of like move, be willing to like move and pull, like move and push him back, in order to earn the turnip pull. Like ideally, you get him to full jump or something. You get him to full jump. You get him to go for a platform. You knock him away, especially on a small stage like Fountain of Dreams.
Hmm.
You're trying to kind of bait him into attacking the turnip pull when you're not actually attacking the turnip pull because the start of your turnip pull is the same as your crouch animation, so you're trying to goad him into attacking on this. But you see like how the second he finishes that aerial, he's just right into your space.
Yeah.
That usually means that if he can get to this spot
Hmm.
before you can actually use the turnip to do anything productive, it usually means that the turnip was probably not a good pull.
Uh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you just kind of like floated into the tipper. So
Yeah.
at this one, like this one is just again like this is just being mindful of his ranges. So like his forward smash, like his longest range move covers basically this spot. So if you actually just drop your float right here and land and block, he
Hmm.
actually can't do very much to you. But because you keep floating forward to try to get deeper into the stage,
Hmm.
this winds up getting you. So this is just being mindful of like what his character's capable of doing.
Oh, I see. So if you throw the turnip at him to like try to scare him away from you and try to get back on stage, you still have to like watch his range even when it's going after him.
Well, yeah, because like the turnip is basic. Well, I mean, like using that perspective, the turnip is
Mhm.
guarding this space. So this is the territory you have, right? So
Mhm.
you could land here for free. You could even probably like if you wanted to push the envelope a little bit, you could probably even land here for free. But
Mhm.
this big blue blob is the space that he controls. So you don't want to land in that spot. Because like
Uh,
if you can mentally keep track of like where he's like because this is beyond this area is beyond where your turnip is controlling, right? Where you're moving into.
uh, okay.
Does that make sense, or do you need
Mhm.
clarification?
I think I kind of get it. It's like, what's it called? My turnip only protects a certain part, so I need to make sure, like, only protects a certain amount of stage. So I need to make sure I stay within that area the turnip protects, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like the turnip doesn't go past this point. Like it's gonna land at about this spot and disappear.
Mm.
Therefore, this is where it stops. This is like, and this is where it's not controlling. Like anything beyond this line is where it is not controlling anymore. So when you float, and the closer you get to the line, the less safe you are. Because once the turnip disappears, he can potentially attack across the line. But if you,
Right.
this is what I mean by like if you land further back, because the
Mhm.
turnip's protecting this area at this timing, then you just land. Then you land for free, and you then have all your options to defend yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not just a matter of the space the turnip controls; it's also how long it controls that space.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, if anything's unclear, just let me know because I want you to understand. But yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, no, definitely.
Okay.
I guess so then in play you would just make sure you land farther back behind it.
Exactly.
Just wondering, is it a bad idea to try to pull turnips up on the platform? I'm not sure why you're still in invincibility.
Oh, so when you're up here,
Yeah.
um, I think it's okay. You guarantee that you like chasing Marth around without a turnip is kind of difficult anyway. It's slightly easier on a stage like this
Hmm.
because it's small. So like if we played this out, if you just leave the platform without the turnip, you have another second of invincibility, but he can probably just dance around this area. He has a little bit more that he can do. Um, I don't think either play is wrong. I think that pulling the turnip makes this kind of play easier because you see how this turnip, like as soon as you land, because he's like isolated himself into this part of the stage, the turnip
Hmm.
cuts into that whole area really effectively. So it further isolates him by pushing him back a bit more, and then you get another one. So then you're able to like keep pushing. You're able to like keep cornering him. Like he jumps to deal with it. No, he no, you jump to throw it. Um, I don't know what the jump really accomplished you though. I don't know if what the jump throw really accomplishes you though.
I think I just wanted to hit him. Not anything intelligent.
I think that the grounded throw is actually better here.
Even if he jumps.
If he jumps, he's still like again. We have that same situation again where he's like above here, like in this area,
Hmm.
and then you can attack this area, this part of him that he doesn't cover very well. And if he shields, then the turnip bounces in front of him, so then he's still isolated to this corner area. Whereas by you jump and throwing the turnip, like if he wave dashes forward to this spot,
Hmm.
he's protected from the turnip because the turnip gets absorbed by this platform, like he can crouch under it, and then
Okay.
you can't really float and attack him from this position that effectively because the platform's in the way.
I see.
Yeah, so I think that staying grounded was actually a lot better here, but I definitely know the temptation of wanting to hit Marth, so. I guess there is maybe a case like if he goes underneath the platform and you land on it efficiently, maybe you can down smash. Maybe you can down smash him. But Martha's crouch is like pretty low, and he could also just feasibly move back at that point. So I just think that there's like a few too many options for him to deal with like the traps that you have in this position, like from this float and jump position. But
Okay.
it's still not too bad though because then you set up the float after. So
Hmm.
like from this position, you could he stops in front of you with shield. So if you were willing to like float here, then you could potentially get a like a pressure string started on him. But that seems I don't know, lots of options.
Okay.
Okay, so get up attack edge guard makes sense. Push him back if he air dodges up. Just kind of stable, reliable option.
All right.
I haven't really seen you dash attack him much. Like I've seen you do it a few times, like a couple times, but
Hmm.
I think that back air is a better move for walling him out as he's trying to come forward, but for actually pushing in, and it's also okay for protecting space as you're pushing into him, or like for just trying to when he because it's efficient, it L cancels efficiently. No, it float cancels efficiently. It's a
Uh-huh.
decent move for like pushing back, but I don't think you actually want to try to like hit him like with it Like after this back air, I'd probably be dashing out of the way or shielding or something to prevent this from happening.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So like it's not a good chasing move, I guess, and it's just more of a
It's more, yeah. You're not really trying to hit him with it. If it hits him, sick. But like, if it doesn't, that's fine too.
uh
I don't think many of your good like I'm trying to hit him moves are really well.
mhm,
Your moves are not very good at hitting him in general, just because of his speed advantage. But the moves that are
mhm,
good at hitting him are mostly things like uh, dash attack sometimes,
mhm.
um, turnip, anything when lots of things work much better when he's isolated to his shield, but
Hmm. So most of the I guess a
mhm.
lot of my options aren't going to work very well against him unless he's shielding because he can dodge around me really well.
Yeah,
Okay. Cheesy.
it happens.
Yeah.
Good high float. Makes sense. Good. You react to the fact that he's whiffed that. Oh no 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 no! Oh dear. Oh, but you're alive. Okay. So I like all of this is good because you react to the fact that he up airs and that's what tells you that you can land.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's whenever you land, there's usually like a small mix up on how he tries to get you back in the air. Because your percentage is really high, I'd just be looking to shield on landing, just to prevent things like this
Mm-hmm.
from happening.
Oh,
So you
okay.
land and shield, land and
Mm-hmm.
and then when they start like punishing your landing with shield with grab, with grab, then you can mix up like rolling, sidestepping, wave dashing back, wave landing, anything like that. And if they start trying to, well, no, because this landing was safe, so I was going to say attack, but that's not necessary. Yeah, that's pretty much what the mix up is in this kind of situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you can dodge it and get back to the ground, then shielding's actually pretty good, and then you can mix up. Okay, cool.
It's good at this percent because a lot of the things that Marth will do to try to kill you right now, like side B, forward smash, up tilt, etc., and like
Mm-hmm.
up B even, they're really punishable out of shield.
Oh, okay.
Whereas grab is like it's not going to directly kill you for any reason. It's unless you make a mistake with your DI, it's never going to kill you directly. Whereas the other tools might. So grabbing is like a good hedge for all those things. Because like if you block this, if you block that
Mhm.
setup, then you can potentially just float bear him out of shield and get a free hit,
Ah,
or just back her out of shield, get a free hit, and you prevent all this from happening as well.
okay.
And then on once you start recognizing that he's like see you do it here, like this is really that was really good. But I think you got a little bit too timid here.
Hmm.
See, when he starts to,
Hmm.
when he's starting to push into your space a bit more, especially
Yeah.
when he's like moving for when he's dancing, when he's willing to play close to you like this, I think you actually have to exert some threat on him with dash attack
Oh.
because
Huh.
moving because he's already gotten to the point where he's like very close to you. So
Mm-hmm.
your character's slow, so you moving back, like your wave dash goes back to like here. So everything
Huh?
that he's going to hit you with is probably going to hit you out of your wave dash back anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
it's being willing to challenge him at the very least forces him to play a further bit back, a little bit back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay.
Because you kind of like
I,
stop and then he,
I
yeah.
guess because I thought that, oh, dash attack, like I always miss it, so it has to be bad in this matchup. But
It's one of those tools where it definitely gets worse as the Marth gets better, but it's
hmm
still an important part of your kit because it forces him to play around things. Crouch cancel is also a really good thing. No, it's also good that you're still being willing to crouch cancel on the kill setups at the hybrid damage. That's another good alternative to shielding. Is particularly if the Marth really likes side B up tilt. Because crouch canceling that gives much better punishes on side B up tilt than shielding does, because you get down smashes and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's also worth noting. See, these back airs are good because you're just kind of like holding him in. You're just kind of holding him in place. See how he's trying to like figure out when you're gonna come down and plan his timing. So then once you have him playing around back air, this is when it's okay to. The way that he beats back air is he has to attack it around here, or he has to grab your landing, like the thing you do after your landing.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it's you've been used representing dash back a lot. So he's gonna try. You can see him like dash grab after, right? So that's
Right.
another spot where that's a spot where dash attack, and you might have even gone for it. It's hard to tell. The quality's kind of blurry, but that's
Mm-hmm.
another case where something like that can be pretty good.
Okay, if you know that Marth wants to punish your dash back, then you can dash attack in to, I guess, punish his run in, right?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
You could also just, and it doesn't have to be dash attack. You could also potentially down smash. You could also
Hmm.
like you're moving back to about here, back here. You could also potentially just throw out a rising aerial
Huh.
and like hit him for coming in, or like a
Oh, huh? So
yeah,
when you say rising aerial, you mean like say full hop nair or something like that?
yeah, full hop nair, full hop back air. Something that's not like float cancel aerial, basically. Just something to like
Okay.
continue walling him out. You can even potentially turn around and jab him actually out of it, kind of like what Peach does versus Ice Climbers.
Oh,
Like you know how
I
we
didn't know. Huh?
sometimes when we're walling out Ice Climbers we'll fair
Hmm.
and then we'll or like other characters who want to grab our float cancel.
Hmm.
Sometimes we'll forward air or back air and then we'll jab afterwards
Oh,
to
right.
just like
Yeah.
protect our front, to protect the space in front of us or the space that they're trying to come in on. It could
Yeah.
also probably work on Marth here, just because of the speed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Really quick, you said beforehand, you wanted they were the backers I did were good because they did what now to Marth? I wasn't entirely sure. I didn't entirely get that.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
the main thing is like look at where Marth is isolated right now. Right. He's
Hmm.
the space Marth controls basically is this area, and right now you're trying to kind of confine him to that area. So your back airs are creating a wall around here that is like your back air is walling this part of the stage, like where this line is,
Hmm.
and preventing him from coming forward. This is good because you like Moan Martha's in the corner because it means that for him to avoid, your other threats in the matchup like dash attack or float cancel aerial or turnip or whatever the heck you're trying to do, it's much
Hmm.
harder for him because he can't use his movement advantage as effectively because he's only got this tiny strip of land behind him. Um, so your
Hmm.
back ears are confining him. The only problem is that he then reads how you're going to like continue setting yourself up by coming
Hmm.
forward and getting this grab because you've basically just been like dash backing the entire time. You could potentially outspace this. He still has to kind of guess how far you're gonna go on your dash back. So you could potentially still like beat this grab by just running further away from him. That's also an option because bear in mind you have all this space to work with. So if you
Hmm.
decide to like instead of going to this point, you decide to go to this point, that is completely acceptable. And that can actually be good because if he comes forward and say dash attacks and misses or something, or dash grabs and misses, that can be a free turnip pull in this position. But
Hmm.
again, the main thing that's good about these backers, the main reason that they're doing something useful for you is because they're confining him to this block.
Hmm.
Because even when he comes out of his little stop, he doesn't come that far out of it. He comes to like this point, like just kind of the edge of it, if that makes sense.
Uh, I think I kind of get it.
Okay.
I guess the only other thing I'm thinking is, how do you, when you say like, you drew the yellow line showing me where exactly, Marth controlled, right?
Hmm.
And I was wondering how you determine that, like when you're like, say, just looking at Marth.
Oh, it's basically just a function of his like. It's basically just like roughly where his immediate range ends. So since he's trying to deal with back air, He
Yeah.
basically has his sword move, so like fair hits around here, right?
Uh-huh.
He does dashing forward, puts him into your back air, so that's no good. So we don't have to worry about that. Like him dashing forward when your back air is attacking this spot,
Mm-hmm.
him dashing forward doesn't really. Well, really, it's more like this area, like this from here to here. This him dashing forward doesn't really do anything for him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Forward smash hits about this area. The platform's above him, so jumping's kind of awkward for him right now. He could potentially like slide across the platform, but then if he does that, he still winds up putting himself into this spot, so he winds up getting hit by your back air. So that doesn't really do anything for him. It's just kind of like what are his moves, and
Mm-hmm.
it winds up working out because of what area his attacks control right now, and because his movement's not particularly useful for doing anything particularly useful for him right now. It winds up. That's how I wind up measuring it.
I guess okay, so it's like what he can do right now is like what moves he can do is how you determine how much what I guess what space he controls.
Yeah, I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing your back ears, like when you're looking at your back ears,
Mm-hmm.
like how your back ears are, what your back ears are doing, like
Mm-hmm.
so you've like that back ear blocks this space, and
Mm-hmm.
you see how he's like inching forward, but not really coming forward that much, right?
Yeah.
He's staying in space. He comes forward on that one, but he still doesn't really like leave. It's because you're occupying like this. It's because you're occupying this area with your hitboxes, basically. So this part of the map with your hitboxes. So for him to come forward on that, he'd have to be willing to outrange your move, which means kind of guess your timing on, which means he has to kind of like guess your timing and your drift on your back air.
Mm-hmm.
Which if you just mix up, then he winds up getting punished for that. He can get punished pretty hard for that. I guess he could he could potentially just make a break for it and run across, no, run through you. But
Uh-huh.
again, like if you're putting hitboxes actively in this kind of location in this kind of area, then
Mm-hmm.
he can that risks him running into it.
Right.
So that's I guess control in this situation is not like it's not like Falco control when you just have like when you have somebody in their shield and you're just there are only
Mm-hmm.
like concretely some things that they can and can't do. It's more like you're
Yeah.
influencing this area and he's influencing this area. So that's what he has available. No, so that's what he's likely to have likely to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like this, like when you have turnips and Martha's like cornered, this is a bit more of concrete. This is more concrete in terms of advantage because
Mm-hmm.
because it's just boxing him out, and there's like a limited like he's just boxed into the corner, and then the only path he has going forward interacts with the turnip. So this is not like as much of a neutral game This is not as much of a neutral situation as the other one. The other one is like you have like stage advantage because you have center stage. Therefore, you have more space that you can potentially give up to like defend against his approach, and you have more room to like actively poke into his area. But so I guess that would be the difference between like
Mm-hmm.
the degrees of control that you have. Like this is a much stronger position now that you have the turnip. Can you kind of see you can kind of see the difference though, right?
Uh, between
Okay,
I
so
guess
like
mm-hmm.
between when you were zoning him with back airs and between having him in like this spot where you have the turnip active.
Mm,
It's because the turnip like controls like a spot that he wants to run into. Like you see how it just like it arcs into this area. So he
yeah.
basically only has one option. Like he has to either tank it on his shield, crouch it, interact with it, in which case it like bounces in front of him, or go around it. So he only has like he has a very the turnip
Hmm?
is controlling his pathways in a very concrete manner.
Oh, okay, I see.
Whereas with the
Yeah.
back air, he still has a lot more counterplay because he can always win the interaction by potentially outranging you. But in this situation, the turnip is functionally outranging him, so
Mm,
that's why this is more awkward for him.
huh. I guess the okay, yeah. I
No,
guess
no,
the
no.
turnabout it outranges him because it uh it forces him to only like use certain options, right? Whenever it like comes towards the path he wants to go towards,
Well, I mean, the turnip
or he wants to go towards, if you will. Yeah.
that's part of it. That is part of
Hmm?
it. There like the turnip controls a relative range for like a long range, but when I say outranges him, I literally mean it outranges him.
Oh, okay.
Like this is where the turnip goes, right?
Uh-huh.
Marth's longest move like hits from like here at his center to like here. So you
Okay.
it literally outranges him. Like if he moves back, he gets hit by it. If
Hmm?
he jumps, then your turnip is not a high commitment because your
Hmm?
throw completes quickly, and then he winds up being like around here, which is like the area that you want him to be in because then you can attack underneath him, which is also
Okay.
fine. You can also potentially move back and pull another turnip and continue to zone him. That is also fine. Um, the turnip like
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Huh?
the turnip outranges him because it actually just goes further than the turnip goes further than his sword does.
Okay. Okay, so it's simple. Yeah, it actually just it goes farther. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it does it like it was it just putting him in that spot where he has to jump is really good for Peach, like you
Yeah,
said.
you got this you get this initiation. Like that's another very reasonable way of doing it. Like you see, like you time your jump so it lines
Hmm?
up with his body. He presents his shield. If he up tilted at this range, if he up
Hmm?
tilts and you react to it, then you can come in on him after the up tilt. I'm pretty sure forward smash misses you here at the height you started. So then
Oh,
you get a free block string or punish on a whiff. So he's under threat right now. Like he's under pressure because of that turnip. It's put him on the back foot, and you've been allowed to start up your play basically.
hmm. Okay.
Yeah. That's really the value that they provide
Oh, okay.
because he has to do something about them. That's why a lot of the matchup is like actively working towards having them. Now on this one is actually a really tricky one because he was actually crouch canceling. That's why he doesn't go up very high off this.
Oh.
So you could have actually like yeah, if you slow it down like really careful, like really to really minute things, like you'll
Hmm?
see him crouch.
Hmm?
So that's why he only goes up a little bit. So you could have actually just comboed off that and killed him, but that's like a
Oh.
very subtle thing to catch and definitely not reactable. So I definitely don't fault
Hmm?
you for that. But this is another good example of just like you see how the turnip is like by you having that turnip, like also the empty jump with the turnip was really good. Because you see how he's playing over here, he doesn't want to jump into the turnip. The turnip is even though you haven't thrown it, the turnip is still threatening this area because that's where it travels. If you're when you're up at this part of the map,
Yeah.
that's where the turnip travels into. So he doesn't want to run into that spot, which is why he's like jumping around these platforms, right? But then,
Oh.
so then
Huh.
what you're gonna notice is he goes up to this platform and tries to like bait and like do some weird platform bait thing to come forward. But then
Hmm?
the turnip sets up an approach for you where you get the snare. So the turnip
Hmm.
is threatening his trajectories even when you're not throwing it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so it constantly threatens even whenever
Yeah, because it's
you're
like
even if you haven't thrown it. Huh?
yeah, it's like you know how people play around Peach's dash attack. They kind of like pretend there's like this invisible space. There's this space between them and her that they have to just watch out for, so
Yeah.
they don't get clipped by it. The turnip is exactly the same. The turnip trajectories are work exactly the same way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see like how awkward it is for him to like come through this because now he's just trying to like force hits on you. Like
Hmm. Hmm?
you'll notice like you've got this turnip and then he tries to challenge you by basically beating you to the punch, but the turnip is fast. Like the turnip is fast and it's controlling this area. So for him running into that, he gets punished.
Hmm.
Then on the next interaction, he wave lands on stage. Hit him like reaction, throw turnip, hit him off stage, get the Zedge guard. It's just it's simple, like, but it's simple, but like it's just me. It's exactly like how your dash attack works, as being like a really long, like difficult move to interact with.
Oh.
Yeah, great combo. Oh, I had to nair there.
Can you get him with the nair there? I don't know.
Well, you went for forward air, so
Oh.
you see
Huh?
like, you see your like. Did you see your hand start do the wind up?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually, when I hit this up air
Mhm.
as Peach versus Marth, usually I
Mhm.
just start, instead of floating here, I usually start like mashing for. I usually try to double jump into him and nair, so I can also get back to the ground quickly. The float is also fine, but the main thing is you just want your nair to come out ASAP.
Uh,
Sometimes I don't even do this. Sometimes I don't even use my jump action. Like I'll just nair on the way down and assume that he'll fall into it. And
huh.
if I'm wrong, then I just, nair, fall to the ground quickly. I'll cancel and then do something, which is
Yeah.
usually fine.
Mhm.
And if he does get hit by it, then it's fantastic. I'm not. I think you also. It's also worth noting. I think you might have burned his jump, but you might not have. No. He traded. Okay, never mind. I thought that was a double jump for some reason. Yeah, but the nair probably can trade there. I don't think it true
Oh.
combo. I don't think it true combos though, but I'm pretty sure you can get that to trade. Oh no.
Yeah, that
oh,
always feels awful.
oh dear, no. Okay, so obviously you've represented this down air coming back a couple times. So obviously, just keep an eye
Mhm.
on how Marth is setting himself up. Be willing to pull back. Like as you're moving forward with this down air, just be willing to sometimes pull back if you commit to this down air. Because his down air hits like this. So if you just avoid this part of the blade, then you're good.
Mhm.
And if he forward airs instead, which has a little bit more range in front of it, you just get popped up, so it doesn't actually kill you. And it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
You can also just not commit and air dodge
Oh.
and go through him.
Okay. So that's how you would use, say, an air dodge. Like, I don't feel like I get how to use air dodge whenever,
Yeah,
say, in this matchup.
so basically you see how he positions himself. Down air's a really
Mhm.
high commitment move. So what you do is, instead of down airing here, you just float forward exactly the way that you're doing, and then
Mhm.
when he double jumps for that spike, you just air dodge through. That's how you use it.
Okay. Oh, so it's not so much, oh, please let me pass you, Marth. It's more like, I think he's gonna throw a hitbox here. I can use this now.
Yeah, you use it to get through him. And then
Okay.
even if he does an efficient move, like let's
Mhm.
say that he fares instead, right?
Yeah.
Then he can still potentially hit you with like a back air or something across the stage, but
Hmm.
that's much preferable to being pushed forward into potentially, a fair spike combo, or like fair into a B, or something that can like
Oh.
potentially kill you. Because being back aired across the stage, you have all this that you can DI to, like, so there's no chance of dying. Like you'd have,
Okay.
whereas
Hmm.
if you're being pushed forward by like his fair or something, right?
Hmm.
Then he can, potentially spike you at this trajectory, up B you at that trajectory, like keep pushing you off with fair. Um, there's more penalty. I'm not saying that air dodging is foolproof, but you are trying to go around his hitboxes in a meaningful way for sure.
Okay.
I think you. Oh, that was so timid. Why? Like he missed forward smash. That's your cue to attack him. Land here and down smash. Land here and down smash.
Oh. Oh. Wow.
if
I like. I guess I got scared. I was like, oh, he could totally like do something again.
you land right here, he dies.
Hmm.
He takes so much damage. that is a freebie.
Oh wow.
and you'll also look cool too.
Oh. All right. Yeah. You get the
Style
million
point.
hits.
Style points. No. Okay, so this is another situation. So in this
Hmm?
position, I kind of think that your footing is perfect. I would not change anything that you are doing.
Huh. Okay.
Because you see how you're both shielding here?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have all the advantages here. For one, he can't fare because he's looking this way. Like he is facing this way, so he can't even come down and fare you right now.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Or at least I
Mhm.
think he's looking that way. I think he's
Yeah,
looking that.
he's yeah, he is. He's facing the other way.
Yeah.
His back is to me.
Yeah. Okay. So when you wave dash this way, I don't.
Huh?
I just don't know what it's accomplishing you.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I huh? Sorry.
like relative to him, like assuming he stays here, like what does it give you? Because you can still protect this whole area, like all of the platform basically, from this spot. Because you can just back air into this spot, you can nair into this spot, or back air into that spot. You can float out of shield and back air into that spot. And then you also have the flexibility of being able to take center stage if you go here. Whereas if you go to this spot, you're basically confining yourself to this side of the stage. Was there
Hmm.
like some weird setup you were like there was some kind of unorthodox setup that I don't know about that you were going for? Because if there is, like I'm down for it, but I just need to know what it is.
I'm pretty sure all I was thinking was, oh, I want to be able to act out a shield, and so I just like, what's one way I got out a shield? Wave dash, right?
Okay,
But
that's and that's a good
mm,
that's a perfectly reasonable reason to get out of your shield. I just think that you
mm.
don't have to move. Like
Oh, okay.
if you wave dash down here, like if
Uh-huh.
you wave dash in place or just float out of shield and then fall to the ground or do the double jump land out of shield, and
Yeah.
then you still have all the flexibility of being able to cover this whole space. Like you still can,
Oh, uh-huh.
yeah, you still can cover this. You can still isolate Marth. Like if you wave dash
Mm.
down here, then you can actually just attack Marth for doing this roll,
Oh, okay.
and then you're hitting him this way, so it's closer for like edge guarding, like better for edge setting up edge guards or corner traps.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hit him here, like you could still hit him across the stage for doing this, but again,
Uh-huh.
then you're hitting him across the stage, so it's slightly less good. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess like I was scared of Marth coming down with fairing, but like you said, his back was to me, so.
Yeah. And the other thing that's worth considering is like if you're in this spot and you're
Hmm.
like even if Marth was like looking at you, like let's say he was like where the X is and he was still capable, his fair
Yeah.
covers like this area roughly, right?
Oh.
So if you move over here, you
Hmm.
still have this whole part of the stage that you can potentially access, and you're still able to hit this choke point, like where the platform ends, because you
Hmm.
can cover this spot. I call it a choke point because you can cover this edge of the platform with like an attack, and also this grounded area with the same attack. So it's like kind of a place where you can control two routes at the same time. Choke point. Um,
Huh?
but yeah, like you have access to this whole part of the stage, the whole left, like this whole 2/3 of the stage, and he's still kind of boxed into this area. So it still works. It still works really well for you. But by you going here, you basically only have this part of the stage that you can work with. You just kind of trade spots with him, but you had the better spot. That's all I'm getting at.
Ah,
Mhm.
okay.
You could still make this play work though. Like if your intention was just to get out of shield, that's still
Hmm.
perfectly fine. In fact, that makes your next play more flexible. So in a lot of ways, it's a very reasonable option. Um,
Hmm.
it's just getting in place or go over here because this is the part of the stage you're trying to actively keep anyway. And this is the spot that's slightly better for pressuring, but it's a little bit more dangerous. So if you don't want to be here, then I get it.
Hmm.
See, like he winds up because you're kind of boxed into this area and you don't react to him doing this. When he gets this fair on you, you have like nowhere to go because you basically are stuck in this corner area.
Uh,
Yeah, footing is so important for Peach. Like, if there's one thing that you learn from this, other than like how turnips like influence space,
hmm.
it's really and how like dash attack it's even though it's like sometimes sucks, it's kind of a necessary evil to just like force him to respect your space or possibly like hit him away from you
Uh,
onto aggressive moves. It's just remember like your character kind of thrives with center stage, especially versus this character. Just because if he has all the movement and if he has all the movement options, then You know, his you can usually beat his range or his movement, but beating both of them together is very difficult.
Oh. Okay, right, and he has less movement and like when you have center.
Exactly. Look at how awkward. Like even look at this interaction. Like look at how awkward that is for him. Like you have center stage. He's like going up. He's trying to figure out weird ways of like getting around. You can just move back a bit. Spend a little bit of stage to like deal with his approach completely. Then you're good. Then you're just gonna probably do it again. You're just chilling. Yep. You see him that he's trying to down tilt, so you go for that back air, just like kind of poke into his space. If it doesn't work, then sick. Yeah. And like that okay, so this one. Probably after this one. Oh, I see. He just did a really fast block string, but you still got out because of your DI, so that's fine. Like some again, like Peach's health bar. You know, Peach's health bar is one of her resources, so gambling a little bit with it is okay. Oh no, no oh dear. Okay. I wonder. So on this edge guard, could you just drop off and backyard him again?
Uh,
No, he's too far. You won't reach him. Your backer hits around here. He's up here. No, that's stupid. If you stand,
I
if you stand up though, I'm trying to figure out how this, if there's a way to make this edge guard guaranteed, like actually kill him off this. I think that you should be throwing a turnip at him, like while he's still off stage. That's one thing. Like you see how he misses that side B off stage.
Oh yeah.
Like if you stay on stage and you just like whip like chuck a turnip like around here,
Uh-huh.
kind of at like this angle, like jump and throw it, or like stand here and throw it around, like so it goes underneath him. I think you can
Yeah.
actually just hit him.
Like oh, actually just hit his side B
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that he could like double jump around it or oh, but that side B has a lot of end lag, so.
And if he double jumps, like again, he goes into like if he double jumps, then he winds up going up here, which you could potentially like intercept with either another turnip, because like he's still really far away from you. I think you can pull more. You have enough time to pull more than one turnip, right? You
Right.
could also potentially just back air him in this area and like just kill
Hmm?
him. Because if you hit him with when he doesn't have his double jump, like I think forcing him to spend his double jump is better than not forcing him to spend his double jump.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you do just hit him with the turnip like perfectly, then he just dies. So that's fantastic as well. Like I think this is just a little too, just
Mhm.
respects him a little too much.
I see. Just like letting him get back on for free
I mean,
without ever trying to challenge his side B, I guess, or threaten his side B.
yeah, well, it's not even that. Like you're not like I wouldn't say for free because you're still pressuring him by like going out and floating. I just think that that's the turnip drop edge guard is a close range. Is an edge guard that gets a lot of its value out of the opponent being close to you.
Mm.
Um, but he's far away from you, so do an edge
Oh.
guard with more range. That's all.
Oh. Okay. Oh, that's simple.
Yeah,
I can understand that.
yeah. He's far away, so throw things at him. Then when he gets close, you can still do your turnip drop edge guard, and it would be very valuable, and it would be very powerful. But like,
Hmm?
um, yeah. And then dash attack to double jab. Oh, but he gets the shield up. Oh, that's sad. That makes me sad. I hate it when that happens.
The weak dash attack always feels so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like expecting it to pop up, so I think I double jab as a panic because I was already pressing the A button.
You probably just assumed that it would combo and that it would combo,
Hmm?
and then it because of the weak because it's a weak hit, and he I guess he like DI'd it okay, then it just didn't. That's one of those situations. Like technically, yes, you could have just
Hmm?
grabbed him, but like how I don't know. That's one of those fringe situations that I don't think that is really that important for. I don't think that playing that situation perfectly is like going to get you much mileage, just because it seems like kind of a fringe situation. I guess
Okay.
I guess on that one, like it just in general, if you hit him with a move that's like not likely to directly follow up, just keep in mind that you can just grab him, because a lot of Peach's biggest threats on a character like Marth are things like down smashing or her float cancel aerials or additional dash attacks. So if they have the option to defend themselves, sometimes just taking a grab will get you something. It's kind of like how Falco players land a lot of grabs. Like it's not
Mhm.
that grab is good with Falco or Peach for that matter. It's just that all the other getting the opponent knows that getting grabbed is less bad than getting say shined or down smashed, so they're more likely to hedge for it. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So they're already like, I guess, scared of her other moves, her other more threatening moves, so they won't account for grab as much. So you can pull it
exactly.
out.
In pressuring situations like that, yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously, if you try to run around, if you try to chase somebody around with grab as Peach, then you're going to realize, wow, this character is really slow. But, but in a situation like that where you've already like tapped him and then he's entered hit stun, so he's sitting still for you,
Mhm.
grabbing can be a decent. If you're not sure that you have a real follow up, then grabbing can be an okay hedge. Like it can be it can be a good thing to represent, just because you know, odds are they're more afraid of grab. They're less afraid of grab than they are of like dash attack or down smash. So then you might clip a shield with it, and
Okay.
then you feel good because you can get to throw somebody, set up a turnip, because you you pick a throw that knocks them over or whatever, and you're good.
All right.
Okay, so what's going on in this game? Okay, so we got a turnip. I probably rather than pulling a new one, I think I might have just caught that old one.
Can
Although,
you? Huh?
like you see how you hit this one, but then like
Yeah.
pulling the second turnip like takes a lot of time, and he's at low
Hmm.
damage, so that first turnip didn't stun him for very long. So what I'm
Right.
thinking is you could maybe jump and catch it and throw it. Like you could, if you wanted to like have like more threat right away, you could catch
Hmm.
this turnip in midair, like jump forward, catch it, and then throw it at like this trajectory
Mm.
as like a quicker way of like pulling and throwing.
I've gotten I guess hit fared quite a few times for just like mindlessly recatching. So I guess I get scared of doing it, but I guess it's good here because actually I'm not too sure what like how come that's like safe from getting like say fared or something.
Um, you're outside of his fair range. That's why. Because you see, he committed the way that this interaction played out is
Hmm.
so you pull this turnip, you hit him with that, and you see how he
Hmm.
shields.
Yeah.
This shield is confining his range, so his fair out of shield hits like this, but you're catching the turnip like here because his like
Uh,
he can't dash forward and fair out of shield at the same time. Like he has to commit to a wave dash or something first. His shield is restricting his range,
okay, I
so
see.
that's why this is safe because he shielded here. So it,
Okay.
so you could also even like after hitting him with this turnip, you could wait and see how he responded, like
Hmm.
react and then react to how he like what he does next. So when you see the shield, you're like, okay, I can actually. You don't even necessarily have to do the air throw. You could even rather than like jumping, you could even just like walk forward a bit and catch the turnip like here. So you're still outside of the range of his counterattack, and then like use this one again.
Oh. Oh, I forgot about grounded catches. Okay.
It's
Somehow.
okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. This is why I'm here. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, like this shield is restricting him. Like he's jumping
Okay.
forward pretty high momentum.
Hmm.
So like this that yeah like so you dash forward and
Hmm.
he see I don't know what this dash forward is doing for you.
Uh, let me see.
Like you see how like you're gonna dash forward when he's doing this forward air, but his
Hmm.
forward air like even if he goes forward at like full momentum, he's gonna land. He has to land like his forward air only like hits about this area, right? So by you
Right.
dashing forward, you kind of put yourself into the range of it. This would
Uh,
kind of make sense if you were. I could see it working if you were willing. If you were really trying to bait him into like forward airing, like you move forward here and then you just
mhm.
like wave dash back or something.
Okay, I definitely wasn't thinking that hard. I'm not that smart.
No, 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 no. This is why I'm here. Like this is why we talk about things. But does that make sense? Like you see how it, like his jump trajectory moves him like this. So if we just
Mhm.
follow that, like his fair trajectory is about like here, right?
Mm.
So,
Okay.
but by you dashing forward, you're putting yourself into that fair trajectory. You'll see what I mean.
Yeah, I
So
ran right into it.
it forces you to block, and then you're under pressure with the turnip.
Uh,
The trick to that turnip to like using the turnip in this situation
mhm.
after when you pull the second one is to understand that like your turnip again it outranges him, so you shouldn't have to actively if you jump and throw the turnip right now
Mhm.
it covers this area, right? All of the
Mhm.
places. If you throw on the ground, it covers like this area. The turnip is longer than his sword moves are, so you shouldn't
Yeah.
have to like dash forward very often or move much
Oh.
to put him
Mhm.
into the range of your turnip.
Oh.
Odds are he's probably already in the range of your turnip, and if he's not, it's because he's all the way over here. In which case, you have to move forward like 2 steps. Like,
Oh.
yeah. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so it's like he's already inside my turnip's range. I don't need to bother going closer to him.
Yeah, you're already under. He's already under your threat. Like you don't need to put him more under your threat. You don't unless you like have a very specific opening that you're looking for. Like for example, say he whiffed a fair. Like
Yeah.
say he did like rising fair right here for no reason. Then you could then it would make sense to like dash forward and like say potentially throw the turnip at him, hit him with the turnip in the fair cooldown, and then combo it off it. That makes perfect sense to me. But
Huh?
um, that forward fair, just like that dash forward, you know, he didn't really do anything like that. That revealed an opening quite that good. So you don't have to work that hard.
Okay.
Oh, that was cool. I like that. I love that. I love that play. Oh no. Okay. This is out. You are outside his shield grab range. You don't actually have to jab here.
Oh.
You see how his grab was about to miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because you're outside of his shield grab range, you can actually just after this grab misses, you actually have a free dash attack.
Oh. I think like when I down tilt, I just my muscle memory instantly goes to jab,
Okay.
but I never thought of like you can just say stop there and then
Yeah, if you're
do other stuff.
yeah, if you're spaced, you do like this. Yeah, this looks like just automatic down tilt to jab, no frame trap, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is like that's not, and that's fine. It's good that you have the muscle memory and the speed to do that to like interrupt this grab. But in this situation, you don't actually have to do that, because your spacing was like super good.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah. And then when the second you see him miss that forward smash, that is your cue to like just yeah. Okay, you just missed the edge, but I would be greedier. I'd probably move like more onto the stage because you do such a like good job. Like you could actually play like slightly closer to him, but I guess this floating back a bit more also dodges jump off forward air, so I can dig it. Like jump off forward air like probably hits about here, and forward smash hits about here. So I get why you moved back a little bit further. That all makes sense to me. But forward smash is really lagging, so you could actually like probably move in closer like right away once that misses, and probably just air dodge through him or something. Or I guess you could also grab the edge. That maybe it was just a mistake. I don't know.
Okay. I think maybe it's because like I still have this like issue where sometimes I like look at Peach still whenever like off stage or something. So then like I don't react as fast as I should to some things.
If you can
That
use
makes sense.
the audio cue on things like forward smash, that might help you.
Oh,
Because
okay.
forward smash has a distinct sound. He's like I forget what it is, but it's kind of that like lunging like grunt, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just again like if you confirm that like I lots of people use the observation method that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that umbrella was needed. I think that actually killed you.
I so I guess then when he has that ledge like that, how do you use the float to get back in? Right, because he can still back air me there, but
Um, I would probably float forward and then either try to air dodge through the back air, or
oh, uh-huh.
or what you might be able to do, although it's risky, you might be able to like drop down here and then umbrella him after he's missed the back air.
Okay.
Either of those. I like the air dodge up though, like air dodge up and or air dodging up and through him though, because then even if you get hit, then you build
Mhm.
height, so your umbrella on your next play is better.
Okay.
Because like if you get hit by back air, you probably DI like and go around here,
Hmm.
and then you'll have a lot more height for your next umbrella, so you have a lot more. Your recovery is a lot more flexible at that point. Like your umbrella is a lot better. Like the problem with this umbrella is you
Hmm.
see like how like instead the second you move to this spot, you're actually dead because if he just grabs the edge, like your umbrella moves at like roughly like this trajectory when you're going down.
Right.
So it's just you're actually just dead. And he can also just kill you by like down tilting here. That's fine. Like that also works, but you
Hmm.
want a little bit more height. I think you want a little bit more height before you start this umbrella, if
I see.
where
Hmm.
possible. Where possible. Otherwise, the umbrella is not much better than a low recovery because at least with a low recovery, you might be able. At least if you go low and come up with the umbrella, you might
Hmm.
be able to tech. It would be hard on battlefield, but like you'd still have that option
I see.
if he like potentially forward smashes or something, right? Like
Hmm.
if you dropped down here and then umbrellaed and he say tippered you, you could potentially tech that. But with this, if he just hogs, you're dead. He doesn't even like. I don't even think that down tilt was a good option, but it just happened to kill you. It happened to be good enough.
I see.
It was like okay,
Mhm.
like his option was okay. But if he really knew what he was doing, then he would have just edge hogged.
Right, because right, like you said, Peach's trajectory only goes to the ledge at that point.
Yeah, and then you're just like there's no way to interact with that. There's no funny smash DI. There's no TAS nonsense that gets you out of that.
Oh.
Because it's an edge hog. Like you're dead.
Mhm.
You're actually doing a really good job of like making this turnip like valuable.
Hmm.
Like you see how it's like really awkward for him to like you see how he's even though he's comes up, you
Uh-huh.
you could actually potentially punish I think that this fair out of shield this fair from the ledge by just whipping the turnip at him. But this narrative shield also makes sense. Because if he shields in anticipation of the turnip,
Hmm.
then your float nair just becomes a block string. But your turnip could also just like start something on like net set up something on shield. I don't know. It's just one of those plays where I don't know.
Hmm.
It's an interesting play.
If you hit someone like while if you like start a flow cancel in the air on someone's shield and you're holding a turnip, I always feel like I don't know what to do next because I usually just get shield grab because I'm like I had the turnip, I don't know what else to do.
I wonder if you can actually throw the turnip out their shield after.
Oh, if you have enough time. Oh, I'm dead again.
I know that if you space it, you can dash back.
Oh, okay. You can do that against the
Yeah.
if you have a turnip in hand. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you space it, you can just dash back after the float cancel. I've seen Armada do that a few times. It seems really good. So you got this up
Hmm.
air. Cool. Okay, try to combo to down smash. Doesn't quite work. This is a tough situation. Oh no! Okay, like, yeah. The problem with that Toad is that if he just doesn't do precisely what he did, where he moved back, he can actually just spike you out of it. So it actually can
Oh, wow.
potentially kill you. Um,
Hmm.
so again,
Hmm.
like this is more of where I think that you just moving forward and being willing to air dodge into him and just gamble the fact that your health bar is like your character's pretty tanky.
Hmm.
Some of these combos are not airtight either. I think like you see how you're getting your float set up. Like, I think you could
Yeah.
potentially trade with him on an air or something, or start air dodge, or get an action going, because float doesn't really do anything for you right now. You're just burning your float.
Oh.
Like
Hmm.
if you trade or beat him with a nair here, then that's amazing for you. If you air dodge and get to the platform, that is also amazing for you. But this float just doesn't really do anything for you. You could also
Okay.
potentially try to like gamble with umbrella.
Mhm.
It's kind of janky, but I've seen it work. Like it's janky and it's slower than nair and air dodge. No, it's not slower than air dodge, but slower than nair, so I don't really like it. But I've definitely seen people use it also to as a means of building height, because
Oh,
it
okay.
jerks you up right away and it's faster than double jumping for building height. So if you like move up a little bit and then get hit by say this forward air and it tips you,
Mhm.
then you're suddenly a lot higher. It's awkward to combo you. Because
Okay.
height is a big resource for Peach with her recovery. The more height you have, the harder it is to deal with you, because that means you can just always DI higher. But she has a raw. But once she doesn't
Mhm.
have much height, she can't really like spend it to fake people out, or like she can't parasol. When
Mhm.
she only goes down with her parasol basically, once she gets to the top of it.
Oh, okay. Right.
Mm-hmm. So height's really valuable for her. So just
Oh.
finding creative ways of getting height, whether it's air dodging, doing weird, like doing umbrella kind of early, double jumping away from somebody off stage just so you're not inside their range, like that double jump off stage was really good.
Oh, because it gets you. Oh, okay.
And you see, like even though you got hit, like
Hmm.
getting hit, you see how you used your like drift back to avoid this forward air. Like
Hmm.
even though you get hit by this down air, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. It sucks because you're down 3-1. But like, assuming a more even position or less of a position where you haven't been gimped twice by this guy, this is amazing for you because it pushes you. It forces you. You're getting hit across the stage by Marth, so there's no chance of dying. His moves aren't powerful enough for you to die off that. Certainly not on an air combo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So like, if you get hit, it's like still okay if you get hit back onto stage. It's,
Yeah. Hit on or across, it's totally fine.
mm,
See, like if in this case,
mm.
I would instead of double jumping into him, like imagine if you double jumped this way,
Oh. Uh-huh.
because then you don't get hit by that. So
Oh,
like,
now he's just kind of awkwardly trying to get back on the stage.
yeah.
Or, okay.
So I think
Mm,
it sounds counterintuitive, but Peach's because Peach's double jump is slow, double
mhm.
being willing to double jump away from somebody is like actually really important sometimes.
Oh, okay.
It actually should have worked. You were just a little slow on the down smash, but that actually does I think
Mhm.
technically work. Yeah, turn it.
Okay.
Okay, so on these kinds of plays where like where they jump around the turnip,
Hmm.
the low trajectory on the turnip, I think yeah, I don't think you can punish down tilt or no down tilt with turnip throw. So that's something to watch out for. On those ones I think you have to just wave dash you have to just be willing to wait. Like you see how
Hmm.
he down tilts and then does this jump forward to go around the turnip throw because the turnip throw forward out of shield goes like this.
Hmm.
So I think that for this one, because his nair is basically going to like finish around this area, you have to actually move
Yeah.
back a little bit here. Like move back a little bit so
Hmm.
that he whiffs in front of you and then you can hit him with it. And then
Okay.
work your way back to center using your range advantage, but this one's kind of a tough one because there's ways that can go wrong, but that's how you'd
Mhm.
beat this play specifically.
Okay. So I guess you have to recognize that after he, I guess, down tilts your shield and you have a turnip in hand, that you can't really beat that out of shield with turnip, and so retreating is the way to go.
Mm-hmm. And this is actually a case where like you could potentially just dash back after hitting his shield with that float cancel.
Uh-huh.
And the cool thing about that is when you dash back on this float cancel, like
Hmm.
if you go to this spot, right? If you just run away from him, if he retreat fares like moving away from you like that,
Yeah.
then you can just pull a turnip. But
Hmm.
if he shield grabs, then you can actually just like stop and then come back in with a dash attack. And if he fares out of shield in place, like if he tries to do a more aggressive thing, then you can also just dash dance around that and counterattack him as well. And
Oh.
if he remains in shield, then again you're still outside of shield grab range, so it's still fine for you. Like you still, and then at that point you have a real decision to make. Like, do you just try to set up another pressure string, or you just chill? And probably chilling will be what you do most of the time, but like setting up another block string is perfectly reasonable. But it just gives you way more options than trying to like chase him across the stage because like look at all the stage he controls. Like he has all this area, all of that.
Hmm.
So right now you're really looking to like chasing Marth across the stage when he's got advantage. That's dangerous and a difficult proposition anyway.
Oh, okay. So I guess as Peach, whenever the only time you can really chase them is if you're like if they don't have many places to go, if you will. They're
Yeah,
like cornered.
yeah. If they're cornered, sometimes it's okay to do it. This is where like the matchup gets kind of you. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to do it sometimes, just because if you never chase Marth or never put pressure on him, then he kind of has a little bit too much freedom with how he can move, which is why representing dash attack and other things like that is so important. But you just want him to be worried enough that you want him to be playing around it enough that he's actually respecting your tools, but not you don't want to be like actively missing it either. It's like you want to do it enough that he plays around it, but not so much that you're getting punished a lot for doing it.
Okay, I see. So he still like feels like it's threatening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the main thing is just like understanding just how much range your turnip has and how he has to play, how he has to play around it, and finding like more
Mhm.
situations where you can set up like lots of good options rather than just kind of lots of good outcomes. Like I think that this is a good. I think that this is a good the turn this float cancel, not this one. The one you're gonna where is it? It's after this.
I think I backered his light shield or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, backyard is shield.
Uh,
So like if
huh?
you this is a good example of like a spot where you can really set up a safe turnip pull potentially without really giving anything up. Because if you move to this spot out of his light shield anyway,
Mm-hmm.
like you're never gonna if he rolls back, you're almost never gonna be able to chase that anyway.
Okay.
The only way that you could get that is if you were willing to like down smash or something and just get him in a frame trap. But if he rolls back or fares defensively or does anything like over in this direction and you move to that spot, you get a free item.
Oh.
If he does anything to defend his space, like if he shield grabs, if he fares out of shield like around here, and you move
Hmm.
to that spot, then you're positioned to be able to like counterattack him. So you also have a line of play. You also have something available to you on that. So I think finding more situations where you have things like that available, where you
Hmm.
know if they do this, then you do this. You know, if they
Okay.
attack, then I just counterattack them because I've spaced outside. If they run away from me, then I get a free turnip, and then I get to start like pressuring him again. I think that's going to be what really like takes you. I think that's going to be the thing that really helps your game a lot further. And then beyond that, just like understanding how long the turnip actually, how much space it actually influences, so
Hmm.
you make better use of it during edge guards and things like that.
Okay. Cool. So I guess in that case, just thinking through what he can do out of shield can like help me like determine like I guess the one where you say you can just like dash back and then set up for either a counter attack or a turnip pull.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's about everything. Do you have any more questions, or is this kind of good for you? Or
I guess it would be so I guess when I want to practice this in friendlies or something like that, right? Or
yeah,
that's what I learned here. I feel like it's well, um, I guess it's kind of a big concept that, turnip is actually this huge thing that has a huge range and people are going to play around it, right?
hmm
So, I'm not really sure what I do with that knowledge though, to be honest. Funny enough, like when I go play friendlies, right? Like now that I know that, right? Like what could I do differently when I have a turnip in hand? Or like I guess another thing too is when I'm still when I'm in the corner but I have a turnip, right? How can I push back for center stage? If that
Um,
makes sense.
well, I think that for your first question, like what do I do differently when I now that I know that the turnip has a lot of range?
Hmm.
A very simple adjustment you can make
Hmm.
is you don't have to work that hard to put the opponent into your turnip range.
Okay.
Like we went over that situation where you dashed forward where you dashed forward while you were holding the turnip.
Hmm.
Like it was in this in the on the battlefield game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to, because the turnip covers such a big space. You don't have to push for. You don't have to dash forward, and to
Hmm.
actively put him into the range of your turnip. You can kind of just hang back and see how he tries to come across, like cut across your turnip's range, and then and then use the turnip once you kind of have an idea on how he's trying to stop you from using them, because he wants to stop you from using turnips. Like if Peach is allowed to pull turnips forever, she beats Marth. Just because turnips outrange Marth, and that's something very important to Marth. Like he can't beat projectiles forever. Um, so you don't have to actively put him. You don't have to actually put this that much effort into going into his range. You could hang back a little bit more and see how he tries to cross the threshold yourself, and then you
I
throw.
see.
And then you throw. The other way you could do it is, um, how can I? What? How does Marth? When I don't have the turnip, how does Marth try to stop? How does Marth or the other character or whatever other character try to stop me from pulling the turnip in the first place? Do they run at me? Do they try to jump? Do they dash dance outside my range? Because that's really what's going to govern you how you engage them and put pressure, no, and threaten them back, or that's going to be that's going to decide how they try to stop you from pulling the turnip is going to determine how you challenge them.
Okay.
So if it's a jumping person, like we went over, how you have the ability to anti-air hit them. You have the ability to um, use your air. You have the ability to use your aerials. You can aim for the parts of their body that their hitboxes don't cover them that well. If it's a dash dancing character, you have low commit aerials that can push into their space. You have dash attack for like kind of a more bursty ranged move, and you can also just simply run away, crouch, and kind of pretend like you're pulling the turnip, and then either float towards them in back air. You can dash attack into them out of crouch. You might have to walk forward for a frame if your controller's not good at that, but it's still an option.
Okay.
Peach kind of needs to have an idea of what her opponent's going for, though.
Hmm.
Like because she's slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, I feel pretty good about this then.
Okay. Again, if you have any more questions, like feel free to throw them my way. I'm happy to help.